Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Да, извините за такие накладки сегодня, но у меня просто форс-мажор. Так, мне сейчас всех надо пускать потихонечку. Сейчас, секундочку.
Можно еще будет вас попросить записать эти 2 пары в Тимсе?
Да, можно будет. Можете
Спасибо.
поставить на запись
А-
прямо сейчас, потому что пока я тут всех пускаю, я могу забыть сейчас.
У нас нет права на запись.
Да, это только
у
у
вас нету?
организатора, да.
Да. Там, если вы просто зажмете кнопочку, она
интересно.
там потом
У нас-
автоматически.
У нас все подряд ставят на запись. Так, хорошо, я ставлю на запись. Мгм. Так, поставила. So, good afternoon. Okay, let's start. I switch off the camera in order to have better sound. And today we will discuss the real option and looking back through the topics that we have. I hope you remember we discussing the financial options, and this is the extension for this discussion. And today we will discuss the real option and option like the opportunity to change your mind to make a decision. And we will discuss it regarding to the companies, to the firms which need to take decisions every day, taking into account the different information and different knowledges about the situation on the market.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think, do you mind switching on your camera, because it will be easier to understand and to concentrate, if you don't mind.
I don't think that it's a problem to just because when the camera is switched on, it sometimes happens the problems with the sound. For me, it's not the problem, just because of the sound.
Yes, okay.
So, because the Rostelecom internet is not stable every time.
Yes, okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, I will try, and if we will have the problems,
У вас микрофон, видимо,
so
закрылся.
I will switch. I will switch off. Switch on.
Thank you.
I switch on the camera and I will switch off it if it will be a problem. The real option is the right to make a particular business decision. And in this case, we very often take into account the capital investment. So we are thinking about the different investment projects with the different opportunities. And the main difference between the real option and financial option, financial option and real option is that the first of all, the underlying asset for financial option is often traded, and the underlying assets for the real options not traded often. And the second difference is that the financial option can be the matter of the deal. You can sell or buy the option contract, but the real option, you have such an opportunity with the real option. A real option is just like the opportunity to make the different decision in the different points of this decision making points.
So is it a contract or not? So, or just like the model of behavior? No.
It's not a contract. It's just an opportunity, and you make the decision to go different ways and to make the different decision taking into account the information that you have. So we have different types of real options, and the most popular here you can see it on the slide. First is the option to delay. Option to delay means that you can postpone the project, and for example, you have some doubts about is it necessary to start project today, or maybe you can wait 1 or 2 or 3 months, or maybe more. So it's the situation when you have some doubts about the point of beginning of the project, and you have the option to postpone this project and start it a little bit later. And often it's the very important thing, because you, for example, you need the bank loan to begin the project, and you don't have any stated terms. If you need time to find this bank financing, and you don't know if it will happen in 1 month or in 2 months. Oh, it's some problem. Yes. And actually, you don't know exactly when you can achieve this goal and find the banking financing. And can you see the presentation or no?
Yes, we can, and we
Yes.
could
Okay.
also see you and hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So. And it's very useful to have the opportunity to postpone a project and begin to maybe now, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 months. The next or type of real option is option to expand. Option to expand means that you, for example, you began to produce something, and you see that, and actually in the beginning of the project, you don't know exactly what demand will be on your goods, on your production, and so you are just trying to offer your goods or services to the customers. And option to expand means that if you see that your goods are popular and the customers like it, you can expand your the production of these goods, and you can add investments, and for example buy the additional production line, for example. And so it gives you an additional opportunity to gain more profit and to make your project more successful and more profitable.
And
The third
what are the examples of not having such possibilities? So those options. And do we need to pay them?
First of all, always you have the restrictions from your financing source. So if you want to have these options to expand your production, you need to understand the source of financing such such expanding. And it's the first situation. The second situation, for example, when you are trying to get the bank loan, in some situation, as for example, we are in the crisis period in the economy. Some banks, they don't want to see in your plans any expansions because it's an additional risk. So when you are just producing the amount of goods that you produced before, this is the most stable situation from the bank's point of view. And you are like the loan holder is more so such a company is not so risky like the company which is trying to expand the production and put investments in new projects in the situation of risk in economy. Is it clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
So in some situations, the first problem is the financing, and the second point is that any expansion of the project, it's the additional risk. In some situation, it's not convenient for some parts of the deal. The third type of option is the option to abandon. And actually, it's the opportunity to stop the project if you understand, if the management of the company understands that the profit of this project is not enough, for example, or you are losing more than you are gaining in this project. So it's not very good situation for the management, because sometimes they don't want to admit that they put in production a not successful project, and have the opportunity to abandon the project is the good way to avoid problems in future. The next type of real option is the option to contract, and this is the opposite option to the option to expand. So you, in some situation, for example, you can reduce the number of producing goods, and so you can do the opposite that we are discussing in the situation of option to expand. And the last is the option to extend life. And in this situation, we are talking about the fixed assets, which have limited period of exploitation. So in some situation, maybe we can repair some fixed assets and put additional investments in not buying new, for example, I don't know, pumps or I don't know. Instead of new construction, for example, we can repair our old offices or something like that. So this is the option to extend the life of our fixed assets when sometimes we have the problems with the quality of these fixed assets. So the next and let's go back and discuss some of this real option with the and try to compare this real option with financial option, because the next our discussions will be dedicated on valuation of these options, and the models will be the same. So we need to understand the parallels between the financial options and the real options. So we are discussing the option to delay. And this option to delay, as I told you earlier, it's the option to postpone a project. And if we are comparing this option to the financial one, we can say that this option equals to the American call option, and call option, American call option can be exercised at any time, at any date. So it means that we can postpone this project to the any period we want. So there is no difference in investments if we began this project now, or in 1 month, or maybe in 2 months. So the strike price is 0. And call option means that we are selling assets, and so call option is option to sell, and see here we are paying money to begin the project. So the parallel is that when we are paying money and putting investments in the project, it equals to the call option. And the strike price here is 0 because there is no changes in investment. And the opposite situation we have here when we are talking about the option to expand.
Excuse me.
This option is about to make the further investments and to increase the output. So we need to add additional money to the investment amount that we previously decided to put in the project. So that's why it will be the American call option on the value of additional capacity. In the previous situation, we have the call option on the value of the project, and here we have the call option on the value of additional capacity. And strike price is the cost of creating this additional capacity. So this is the difference. And here we have to pay money, and it means that it will be call option. The next step is that is the option.
And about
Excuse me?
Yes, I have a question about the last two options. So we don't assume that while we are holding our money and not investing, the value of money is decreasing, and maybe the value of project is increasing. So, like, due to the inflation.
You mean that the investment amount will change
Yes.
when we postpone the project? Yes, I think it's maybe it's the real situation, but here we are. Don't take into account this factor, and you will see it in the examples in the next few slides. So we are taking into account the situation when nothing happened with the investment amount because of the postponing the project. So the situation is not changing, but actually in the stable situation in economy, there is no big difference between the investment amount, because it's a very common situation when you are creating the business plan for some project. And for example, I have the project in the autumn, and we finished the business plan at the end of the November, and we were trying, they were trying to get the bank financing in December and start the project in January. And in our business plan, the date of starting the project was January. But they had problems with bank financing, and after it, we have some reviews for this business plan, because they postponed the project's beginning to the April. But they have the contract with the supplier of equipment, and this offer was valid in April too, and there were not any changes in this contract. But I am talking not about 2021 and 2022 years. It's the story 1 year ago, without this extra situations that we have now. And if we are talking about the situation without any stress in economy, 1, 2, or 3 months is not this significant period to change the investment investing capital for the significant amount. That's. May I continue?
Yes. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Option to expand and option to delay. It's both are the American call options, and the strike price in the first case is 0, and the second case is the cost of creating additional capacity. And now we have the option to abandon. And option to abandon means that we will stop the project, and that's why we have the parallel between the financial and real options, and this parallel will be the American put option and not the call option. And here, like in the option to delay, option to abandon and option to delay are the opposite. So we have the put option on the project's value. When we were discussing the options to delay, we have American call option on the value of the project. And
sorry. Sorry for interrupting, but our colleagues are asking you to accept them.
Accept.
Yes.
Okay. Just a second.
Thank you.
So, okay. And can you see the presentation still?
Yes, we still can.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So strike price for such option is the liquidation value or value of reselling this project. So you can sell the project like an whole the equipment that you have. Maybe you still not finished the construction or something like that. So you can liquidate all the assets you have by selling it separately, or you can sell the whole project, and the strike price will be the value of this liquidation or this reselling. But you should consider the expenses of such a liquidation, because maybe you need some real estate consultants to sell your I don't know your real estate, or to sell your equipment. You need the some specific consultants, and you will and maybe it will take time, so you need to take into account the money value in time. So the strike price is liquidation or sale value, accepting the cost of this liquidation. And abandonment option very often reduce the negative effect of poor investment decisions. So actually it's very common situation when we have the poor investment decisions, but stop this project and abandon this project. It's always a little bit, it's always better than continuing the project which is based on the poor investment decision. Option to contract, as I told you, is the opposite option to the option to expand. And here we have, when we were discussing the option to expand, it was the American call option on the value of additional capacity. And here we have the American put option on the value of the lost capacity. So we are reducing the goods production, and the value of this lost capacity. It's the subject of this American put option. If we are talking about the strike price for such option, it's the present value of future expenditures which we saved by rejecting our operations. And as you remember, the strike price for the option to expand was the cost of creating additional capacity. And here it's the present value of future expenditures which saved, which will be saved. So the last one, it's the option to extend life. And as the life extending procedure is connected with the additional investment, it will be call option. And now it will be European call option, not American, because we need to make these investments not at any date, like an American option, but in the date when we need this investment, when our equipment becomes poor, for example, and will not be able to produce goods more. So exactly at that moment, we need to make the investment. So that's why it's not American call option, it's European call option. And the strike price is the amount we need for this investment. So I forgot in the beginning of the lecture to make the reference this topic, the real option is described in Berg de Marso textbook, chapter 22, and we will have some examples from this chapter. And if it's, for example, more easier for you to read it in this book, not listening the lectures, you can find all the information in Berg de Marso textbook, chapter 22. So what we are talking about next. We need to understand the value such options, like we can do it when we are talking about financial options. And the first step we discussed when we were describing the financial options was the binominal model, when we have the uncertainty in economy and we don't understand if the price go up or for the asset for the underlying asset, or if the price go down. So we had the binominal tree, which was growing up depending on the situation in the economy, but this tree was not the decision tree. It was just the tree which describes the different situations which can happen in the economy on this good market, which is underlying asset for the option, etc. So now we will begin with the decision tree analysis, and there is the main difference between the binominal model for the financial options and the decision tree analysis for the real options. So we were discussing the different opportunities to the company's management to make the decision according to the information that they have. So the decision tree analysis is the attempt to describe what will happen when we decide that way or this way or that way. It's like in the Russian painting Vitis na Rasputi, when you have three ways and you just decide which way you will choose. In binominal model, you don't have opportunity to choose these ways. You just trying to describe what will happen in different situations, but you don't have the opportunity to choose if the price go up or price go down. But here you have the opportunity to make the different decisions. So the decision tree is a graphical representation of future decisions and uncertainty resolution. Let's describe it on the example which is presented in the Berg-de-Marsa textbook in the chapter 22 in the beginning. There is the part of this chapter which called the decision tree analysis, and this situation is without any real option yet. We just describe how it is work when we are trying to make the decision, taking into account the different ways the situation, the developing the situation. But in this case, it depends on our decision. What will we get in the end of the project? There are some uncertainties, and we will describe it a little bit later. But now we will try to describe just our decisions using the decision tree analysis. So we have the United Studios. It's the company which produced some movies, and so they have rights for a national bestseller, and so they can produce the first movie, and then they have an option to produce a sequel based on the same book. So there is the bestseller book, and they have they hold the rights to produce the first movie, and after and not the first and the second, just two movies. The one movie and the sequel. So they have two ways to produce these two movies. First is shooting both movies simultaneously. So they just producing two movies at the same time. So and as they produce these movies at the same time, the total budget is 525 million. At this time, they spending less money than in situation when they produce the movies sequentially. So they produce the first movie, and after is the second movie. And in this case, the budget is 575 million. So it's higher for 15 million US dollars. And in the next slide, you can see the decision tree analysis for this situation. And I don't mention it here, but we know that the profit from these movies is 615 millions. So we have the square, the black square here, and this square here, and in the next slides, it means that in this point we can make the decision. So looking at this situation, there is no any sense to produce these two movies sequentially, because the budget is higher, but the gain is the same. So we can produce the movies at the same time together, and the budget is 525, and this is the revenue from selling rights on these movies, and so the NPV for this project is 125. So as you can see, we don't take into account the time value of money, just making very simple calculations, and the net present value for such a project is 125. And blue line means that is the better way, and it's the better decision in this point if we are choosing between these two decisions. So we can do nothing and we will get 0. And we can produce two movies together, and we will get 125,000 or millions US dollars. So the option to produce movies sequentially doesn't consider at all, because the profit will be less than we have in this blue line situation. So I think it's very clear at this stage, and so we have an additional data here. United Studios is aware that the value of the project is depend on whether or not first movie is blockbuster. So this is the continuation for the situation when we are producing these movies not at the same time but sequentially. So there is the two two situation which may happen. The first is that the first movie will be a blockbuster. Then the studio expects to earn a total of 900 million between both movies. But this is in the situation when the first movie is blockbuster. So when the first movie is blockbuster, you understand that maybe it will be a great idea to produce the second movie and gain more money. But we can't know in advance if this movie is a blockbuster. So there is the probability that the first movie will be only a moderate hit. So very moderate and nothing special, not very popular movie. So in this situation, if they decide to produce the second movie, nevertheless the first one wasn't so successful, they have the expectations that they can earn 400 millions US dollars between these two movies. So as you can see, the difference between these two amounts is very huge. And we have the 15% chance of the first movie being blockbuster or being a moderate hit. So at this picture, you can see the decision tree analysis for such situation. So if the first movie is blockbuster, they will have $900 million. And if this movie is the moderate hit, you will gain only $400. And pay attention to the symbols. Here we have the black square, and here we have the black circle. Black square means that in this point we can make the decision. It's our decision to produce films or to do nothing. And in this point, there is not it's not our decision if the movie will be the blockbuster or just moderate hit. It's the opinion the customers. The opinion of the customers will affect it. The market choices and the other factors will affect if we will go to the upper line or to the second line. And it's not our decision. And in all the decision tree analysis schemes, we will use these symbols, black square and black circle. So here is the comments about it, the decision notes and the information notes. The decision notes, it's the square points. A note on a decision tree at which decision is made. So here we are making the decision, go to upward line or downward line. So here we can make a decision. And these decision notes, they correspond to real option. In these points, we can decide if we want to abandon the project or to extend or to do something else. But in these points, we can make the decision. And the information notes, it's the type of node on the decision tree which indicates the uncertainty. So in these points, we don't know, we can't understand what will happen if the movie became a blockbuster, or maybe it will not be so popular, etc. So there is the difference between the decision nodes and information nodes. So in decision node, you can make the decision using the information you have, but in the information node, you you can just sit and observe what will happen next, but you don't have any opportunity to make the decision and to influence to the situation. No, actually, in real life, for example, you can make some advertising, I don't know, make some advertising to make your movie more popular. You can hire the popular actors. So actually you have some opportunities to influence the situation, but if we are trying to describe the situation theoretically, just we need just to assume that in these points we don't have any opportunity to influence to the situation. So In United Studios case, the square node represents the decision to invest or to do nothing. And the round node represents the uncertain state of nature. And we don't know if it will be blockbuster or moderate hit. And so we have the node here. Then in reality, there is no any chance to making the sequel before they know the first reaction, the reaction for the first film, and nobody. It's a very not very common situation when they produced two movies together. First of all, they are trying to understand the reaction on the first movie, and after it to just after it to make the decision about the second movie, about the sequel. Так, опять что-то тут.
We can hear you now.
Ага. У меня просто прерывается звук, пишет, что какая-то проблема, и исчезает презентация с экрана, открывается Microsoft Teams. Here you can see the whole decision tree analysis for this situation. So let's use the first movie. This is the budget for this first movie, and after it we have the situation of information node, and there are two ways to develop this situation with the equals probabilities, and this first movie can be a blockbuster. So the profit will be 500, and if this movie is the moderate hit, the profit is 300. So as you can see, in the situation of moderate hit, we will get 0, and in the situation of blockbuster, we will have 200. And if we will try to calculate the estimated profit at this point, it will be 100 because of the equal probabilities. But it's not the end, and we have the continuation of this situation, and we have the opportunities here and here, and this is the decision node. In these points, we can make a decision about how to manage our film production at the next stage. So in the situation of blockbuster, we can produce the second movie, or we can stop the project and do nothing. If we do nothing, we will get 0. And if we will if we will produce the second movie, we will get $400, and the cost of production is 300, like in the previous situation.
Excuse me. Do
yes?
we have 2 firms there? So should we? It's films. Sorry.
Yes, it's film. It's movie. Actually, it's a movie. And first movie, it could be a blockbuster or moderate hit. And when we understand if it's blockbuster or moderate hit, we are making the decisions. And if it's blockbuster, we have the 400 million US dollars of profit, and this is the cost of the production for this movie. And we have the profit of $100 million. And in the second situation, when we are discussing the situation of moderate heat, we can produce the second film. The cost of production is less than here, maybe because of we don't have a lot of money here. We understand that the movie is not so popular, and we don't want to spend a lot of money to produce the second movie. And so as the first movie wasn't so popular, the second is not so popular too, and we will get profit only $100. And as you can see, there is no any sense of producing this movie, because the cost of producing is higher than we get from this movie. And in this case, the better way is to do nothing. Blue line means the best choice in the point of decision nodes. So here we have both lines black, because it's not our decision if it will be blockbuster or moderate hit. But in these points, it's our decision, and we are trying to choose the best one. So if the movie is a blockbuster, it's a good idea to produce the second movie. And if the first movie is moderate hit, it's better to do nothing. And at the same time, we have the result from the previous analysis when we are trying to produce both movies simultaneously. So, and now we need to calculate the present value of the first, the upper line, when we are trying to produce film movie 1. After it, decide when we will see if it's blockbuster or moderate hit. I'm sorry. You can see the different ways for our decision. So let's calculate. Minus 300, it's the cost of the first movie production. After it, we have probabilities, 15 and 15%. So here are the probabilities, and this is 2 ways for these probabilities. In the situation of moderate heat, so we will get 300 from this first movie, and after it we are choosing the low line, and this line means do nothing. So that's why here we have a situation when we create the moderate heat without any sequel. So this this is a result for this way. And if we are talking about when we have the blockbuster, and after it we produce the sequel, so we have $500 from the blockbuster. After it, we spent $300 on sequel, and we get $400 from this sequel. So if we will try to calculate, it's 16 with the probability it's 600 with the probability of 15. It's 300 here with the plus. This here we have it with the minus. It gives us 0, and we have only this result, 115 million. It's the result for this scheme. So here we can understand that optimal for the United Studios to produce 115 is more than 125. So this way is preferable, and it's optimal to produce the second film, only the situation when the first one is blockbuster. So it's not optimal to produce both movies together. Just after we will understand that the first movie is suits to customers, the customers like it, and after it produce the second movie. Or in the other way, if the blockbuster is not the first movie is not blockbuster, to produce only the first film and stop. So is it clear?
Yes, it is. And if the profit from producing both movies at once was higher, so we
yes,
we
but
would
you
choose.
should understand all these profits are estimated, just estimated, and in the real life there is no any guarantee that all these numbers are correct. It's very often happened when the budget when I've lost my mind. So yes, you should produce the films separately or together, looking at the numbers, but in the real life, you are not sure that these numbers are very well predicted. That's the problem.
So we have the uncertainty not only at the point when a film can become a blockbuster or a moderate hit, but well, I guess the costs and the revenue so could be also like a little bit unpredictable and random.
Actually, we are just describing the theoretical situation about the decision tree analysis, but all these trees are based on the numbers, and I think you know it from the practice, not only from the economy, when you are trying to repair something at your apartment. For example, there is a zero probability that will fit your budget because something happens all the time and you need to increase this budget, and the prediction of the earnings is not so all these earnings are not guaranteed. But here we just are assuming that these numbers are correct. And this is the main difference between the theory and the practice, because here we assume that all these numbers are correct. And if we can see here 400, it's guaranteed that we will get 400 US dollars from putting our movie in the production. But in the real life, nobody knows how many profit will get one movie or another. There is the always, as I can see, it's always the surprise for the producers that they get one amount or another amount. Sometimes a very cheap movie makes a lot of money, and sometimes situation is the opposite.
Yes,
so,
okay.
If we are talking about the decision tree in common, you should understand that many corporate investment decisions, they contain real option. Actually, sometimes the management even don't understand, and maybe they don't know such a term, but the most of corporate investment decisions, they contain these real options. They can stop the project, abandon even in the middle of this project, and you can see a lot of such, for example, construction projects when for example, in my district, when I am living in Moscow district, there is the very big construction project near the Moskovskaya metro station. It's called Graf Orlov, and I think it's 10 years. They are trying to finish this construction, but some buildings are not finished yet. And the same situation was with the stadium for our football club, St. Petersburg Football Club. The construction was out of the plans. So a lot of investment projects, they contain the real options to abandon the project, to expand, or to postpone or something like that. And if you understand that your project contains the real option, you can use this decision tree, and this decision tree identifies the following points. Decision notes showing the choices that are available at each stage. So it's very useful to make this decision tree in order to just to see all the opportunities that you have at every point. If we are talking about the information notes, you can show the payoff for the different situation which can happen in the economy, in the industry, which you are trying to enter, for example, with this investment project. So you just can see the different ways of situation development, and you can understand the payoffs for this situation, and maybe you can predict the probability for this number of situations. So when we are in the decision node, we need just to choose between these two lines, and when we are in the investment node, in the information node, you need just to take into account the ways of situation development and the probability for these different ways. So when you create this decision tree, you can value the investment opportunity. Actually, it's a very good way to make a scheme of project realization, because sometimes it's not clear that you have these real options, and you can make the decision in this point and change the situation according to the changes according to the outside changes, the changes outside the project. So let's go back to the different types of options, and I will try to cover, actually we have just 7 minutes, and maybe I will try to finish on the next on the seminar, and after it we will solve the problems for this seminar. So I will try to explain on the example of option to delay how to estimate this option. And this there is often a cost to delaying, to postpone an investment decision. What cost, which cost it could be? For example, you have some equipment, but you don't have, you have, for example, the half of the equipment you need, and you are waiting the delivery for the other part of the equipment. So you need to postpone the project because you can't start the producing. You don't have the whole production line, and you can't start the production, but you still have the part of this production line, and you need to save it carefully in some temperature, for example, and or some special regime. So you need to pay for warehouse or for electricity, for example, and for other things to keep this equipment safe. And so when you are deciding to postpone the project, there is a cost for delaying very often. But from the other way, when you postpone the project, you have an additional information regarding the project. For example, something is changing on the market, and you get this information before the project starts, and maybe something is happening that leads to reject the project at all. Maybe not just delay, not just postpone this project. So the result is that the decision to wait involves the trade-off between these costs and the benefit of being flexible. So you are trying to postpone the project in order to get more information about the markets, about this industry, etc. But you should understand that these benefits that you have because you became more flexible should be higher than the cost of delaying this project.
And the cost is mainly about unreceived profit.
It's about unreceived profit, and it's about an additional expenses at that period. For example, it could be salary for the administrative staff because you create the company, but this company should have the CEO, the chief accountant, for example, but you just producing nothing. You have the equipment, you should pay the property tax maybe for this equipment in different countries. There is a different regulation about it, but maybe you should pay the property tax, or maybe you buy the land and you are waiting the supply, the equipment delivery. And if you are landowner, you should pay the tax on this land, or you take this land in lease and you should pay leasing payments for this land. So it may be different type of costs, including the costs you mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So there is another example, and we discussed the situation with the movie production, and now we are discussing the situation with the electric car manufacturing. Actually, maybe we make we have a break for 20 minutes, and after it, I began this new example. Is it okay?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a break.
Yeah, sorry, before the break, do you mind recording the seminar as well?
I'm not going to leave this class, and we will just continue in this classroom, I think, and the recording will continue.
Yes, okay, thank you.
We have I've sent the one link for your office, and I think that all the links in the scheduler are the same.
Yeah, yes, it's true. Thank you. And after the seminar, you're going to send us the lecture and the
Yes,
file.
yes, all the materials. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Because personally, and I guess many of my colleagues would love to take part in seminar, but due to the planned timetable, it could be hard. Thank you. Goodbye.
For 20 minutes.
I will see it in recording, unfortunately.
Okay.